Hey, good afternoon, everybody. I want to thank Leader McCarthy for coming to San Antonio. We had a fantastic discussion on the energy industry. I want to thank Mike Howard for hosting us here. I would just argue that right now is critical to blue collar jobs, that we fight for these jobs and we ensure that they stay keeping our economy going now more than ever during this pandemic. And it's not just about the energy jobs, it's about everything that's associated with them. The waitresses, the bartenders, the laundromats, the RV locations, all of it impacts us anytime we have drastic changes to our energy sector. So with that, I want to turn it over to Leader McCarthy for his thoughts.
Thank you, Tony, and thank you for your service not only to the nation in the Navy, but also now within Congress. Now is not the time to jeopardize American jobs or the crucial tax and royalty revenues. What a difference just 1 month makes. We've watched President Biden, just by the stroke of a pen, eliminate more than 1 million jobs. But it's more than just jobs and families that he's destroying. He's destroying the hotels, the restaurants. And the response that we get is that these people can go make solar panels. Well, you know what happens? There's not enough solar panels to make. The jobs don't pay the same. And those solar panels don't pay the royalty. They pay for the schools. They pay for the roads. They put people through college. He has no plan of what he's doing. Just in my tour throughout the country, people continue to ask me, where are the jobs this president promised? Well, the jobs that he promised are not here. But now he's eliminating not just the jobs, but he's eliminating the strength of America. By a simple stroke of a pen, not only has he eliminated 1 million jobs, he's made our adversaries stronger. From an environmental point of view, he's made us weaker. This energy will still get transported, but how will it get transported? Through rails and cars. It's safer in a pipeline. And what happens if Americans can't produce the energy for their own nation, they will still buy it somewhere else. We've seen this played out before. Where will it come from? Our adversaries like Russia and others. But what's the worst part about that as well? Our natural gas is 42% cleaner than Russian natural gas. It makes no sense, from science to the jobs and others. There's 3 things that we should be doing right now. As I walk along through Texas and see these jobs cut out, I also see something new happening along the border because of President Biden. More and more illegals coming over. It's a concern for the health concern of where they're coming, but more importantly, it's simply because of the message that he's delivering. I think it's more important that we focus on the 10 million Americans who are out of work right now, and let's not add to that number. These are good-paying jobs, high-paying jobs. And now I'm watching that they're losing. I'm watching New Mexico get 50% of their revenue from the royalties of what are coming in. That means schools will be cut. But it can all be different. When I talk about not the time to jeopardize American jobs or the critical tax royalties, that's not just my language. Even a few Democrats have joined with us. So I'm not quite sure who President Biden is listening to, because he's not listening to the worker. He's not listening to the union worker who is building a pipeline. But more importantly, he's shutting down revenue that can go to schools, go to governments, go to roads, to help make America stronger and energy independent. That's what we were growing in the last 4 years. But what you're going to find today, and I ask everybody, go and look at what the price of oil is today and what you pay for in gasoline. I promise you, a year from now, the action of what this president has done has only increased it. The affordability is going to go through the roof. But that can all change, because he can stop this direction. He could take his own words that he said at the inaugural, unity, to work with both sides. I'm ready to sit down and work together, to focus on putting the 10 million Americans back to work, to focus on putting kids back in school. And that doesn't mean one day. That means all week. And focus on making sure every American who wants a vaccine gets one. That's what a unity message looks like. That's what makes America stronger. And let's not add and make our adversaries stronger. Let's make America stronger by America's working, with America being energy independent as we were, and stop attacking an industry that only makes us stronger and makes the rest of the nation better. With that, I'd like to bring up Mike Howard with the Howard Energy.
Thank you, Leader McCarthy. Also, thank you, Representative Gonzalez, for putting us together today and following through on your promises of listening to your constituents here in your first season. So thanks for being here today. One of the things we talked about was how fossil fuels generate over 80% of the energy produced in the world, consumed in the world. What that simply means is we are the business that powers every other business. And with the executive order that was recently signed and the subsequent orders that came out of it, we were surprised as a pipeline company here in San Antonio that we were shut down as well. We were hearing that it was going to shut down the drilling locations and on new exploration and production on federal lands. What it actually did was ceased existing permits and ceased existing operations. So now we are behind. We have contractors lined up. We have employees ready to go on a permit to lay pipeline in New Mexico that today we are now delayed. And some estimates say that we might be up to a year delayed, even though it's only a 60-day moratorium. That goes into a much longer delay, which in our Texas operations, that hasn't been the case, and we're going to continue to operate the way we've been. And so it was good to be able to talk to Leader McCarthy and Representative Gonzalez to go back to DC and take this real life story of delay that's going on. And it could just be unintended consequences. Howard Energy is a 10-year-old company. We started under the Obama administration. We obviously went through the Trump administration, and now we look forward to working with the Biden administration and continue our successful operation that we've been able to put together over the last 10 years. So thank you. Tom Hart will now come up, Jonah Energy.
Thanks, Mike. Well, I also want to thank Leader McCarthy and Congressman Gonzalez for their taking the time to come see us today. We had a great visit, and their keen interest in our industry. For my part, I'm CEO of Jonah Energy. We are a natural gas producer. We operate exclusively in Wyoming and almost exclusively on federal lands. I'm very focused on the issues that we're talking about today because they impact not only our business, but they impact the men and women that work directly for Jonah Energy in Sublette County, Wyoming, and also the many others who depend on our activities in the area. We generate a lot of tax revenue. We generate a lot of royalty revenue. We have service companies and their employees who are dependent on our operations, and when our operations get interrupted, then all of those folks are at risk. We believe at Jonah that we believe in the role of natural gas in addressing both energy security and climate concerns going forward. We also believe that some of the most responsibly produced natural gas is produced on federal lands. We are a quantified leader in that realm, and one of the real risks of the unintended consequences of the moratorium is that natural gas production on federal lands would be displaced and replaced by dirtier sources of energy. So that's an unintended consequence in addition to the loss of revenue, the loss of jobs, et cetera. We, similarly to Mike Howard and Howard Energy, Jonah Energy is entering the third presidential administration of our existence. We've worked closely and smoothly with both the administrations and the BLM under 3 presidential administrations now, and that's what makes our industry work. We work closely with the BLM in our area, and the issue that we see with the moratorium is it just creates uncertainty, which can ultimately run into rigs being idled and jobs being lost, and ultimately damage to our company and to our industry. We have a real bright spot. If your primary concern is climate, responsibly produced natural gas is one of the real weapons to minimize the impact on climate. And some of the best natural gas being produced in the industry is coming off of federal land. So we want to make sure that this moratorium ends and that we can move back to a situation where producers and operators like us and Mike can plan our businesses and operate without the risk of uncertain outcomes from a regulatory standpoint. Thank you.
We want to make sure that Americans are being able to go to work. We want to make sure that government is not coming and cutting their jobs. As Mike and Tom talked about, some of the cleanest natural gas in the world is being produced in America. Not only does it make America cleaner and more productive and affordable, we also are able to export that to other nations. It makes the world environmentally cleaner as well, that they begin to burn natural gas. If they buy it from Russia, it's 42% dirtier, or if they're buying coal and others. We have the ability to be energy independent that makes America stronger, makes the world safer, puts more people to work. But unfortunately, with a simple stroke of a pen, by delaying, even though we've been able to work with other administrations, puts the future in doubt. We've watched prices go higher. We watch the affordability. We watch jobs get cut, from hotels to restaurants to those working in the energy industry. We don't want to see schools cut as well. That's why we asked President Biden to change the track, to take away the executive order that stops the leases, to take away his executive order to end the Keystone Pipeline. Let's work together. Let's take you at your own word, and let's sit down and talk, and at least talk to the union workers that you just cut, and let's see the best way to move forward. With that, we'll take some questions.
Congressman McCarthy, you've been on a tour of Texas, if you will, an energy tour last several weeks. Houston, Midland, now here. If somehow you were able to get a sit down with President Biden, what would your pitch be against change this?
Well, the first thing I say with President Biden, it'd be nice to sit down to talk about America and where we can work together. It'd be nice to sit down, and I would bring in the workers. I would bring in those who are actually being affected directly by this. And let's have an understanding of where best to make America stronger and move forward. It's very difficult that the President Biden makes a decision without talking to anybody. I know the President's been in office for a while. I think it'd be time, I've watched other presidents at this time, to bring in a bipartisan, bicameral, to sit down and work on those issues. We're ready to work together to make sure that the American worker has a job. Let's prioritize the American worker first, and let's also make sure the affordability. I happen to come from California. We have to pay 40% higher on our electrical cost, and many times and sometimes when we need it, it's not there for us. I'd hate to see that for the rest of the nation. I do want to thank the opportunity of being here. Tony Gonzalez happens to be a freshman, a man who served his nation well within the Navy, but he's no freshman. He's already serving and sitting on Appropriations Committee. He's head and shoulders above so many others because of his work for his own district, listening to it, and that's why it's firsthand and why I'm here today, to make sure that we keep America energy strong. It makes America safer, more affordable energy, and also a cleaner environment for all of us. Thank you very much.
Good job.